What is going on, everyone, and welcome to the Mystic Podcast, the first edition of the series. And you know what? I thought I'd never ever do a podcast in my life. But you know what? It's been that long since I've been doing content on the channel. I kind of was like, you know what? Something might need to change for me to, get my love back for creating content. And podcasting, I've been watching a lot of podcasts lately. Obviously the biggest one would be Joe Rogan, and Logan Paul's coming up there as well with Impulsive. I do watch the odd podcast. I don't sit down and watch every single night, but I was sitting there thinking to myself, look, I've been streaming for 5 years, well, about 3 years, then 2 years just on and off, so I really know what to expect in terms of talking. Like, I can sit in front of a camera, I can sit and I can talk shit. Probably not as well as other people. Obviously my interests are gaming and stuff like that there. I don't really want to start talking about gaming throughout the whole podcast. So, obviously over the past couple of weeks, I've been teasing it that I would be doing podcasts in the future. But it was really only the past week that I kind of just committed to it. And was like, you know what? We'll do this next Saturday and we'll get one straight up. So as soon as this gets uploaded tonight, should be around about 10 o'clock or so. I don't know. I really don't know. But yeah, I'm literally recording it and then I'm putting it straight up. So it's literally recorded and uploaded in the same day. But you might notice we change in the audio. I went and bought a new audio mixer, the Go XLR Mini. So bear with me, it will improve over the next couple of podcasts. I'm still trying to, get it perfect, get that broadcasting feel to it, But let's not get off topic. I just want to talk about the podcast going forward. Obviously, I don't find it hard at all to talk about stuff, Maybe when the camera's off and then I'm talking to real people, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? These are real people. I love you too. But yeah, sometimes it can be hard just to talk about things because you may talk to someone about a certain topic and they probably won't even have a clue what you're talking about, but they'll let on as if they do know, and the conversation's just going nowhere, But with podcasting, I'll have a full week to prepare for it. Get all the suitable topics written down in order so we're not talking about one thing and then going straight into another thing. It's going nowhere, so it'll all be scripted and at least it'll go in one direction instead of going straight and then left right all that there kind of stuff. But over time we'll get better. As I said, this is my first ever podcast doing by myself. I've been in a podcast before. I've been in, I think it's about maybe 5 or 6 episodes of one of my friends' podcasts. There's 4 of us. One's a wanker, but we'll get into that in an actual separate video. But yeah, I kind of have an inkling of what it's like, but I will never have more than one guest on the channel at a time because I don't want to have the problem of, hosting the podcast and then having 2 other people talking over me, you know what I mean? So obviously if I'm talking about one thing, they will butt in and, mess up the whole podcast, or even just make it sloppy, you know what I mean? So we'll only be sticking to one podcast guest at a time. But that's going to be further down the line. We're going to be doing some solo podcasts for the next while until, we can get the structure right. And really today's podcast is just really about obviously what's the plans for the future, and I really want to talk to you about a wee bit about myself, because obviously if you're just tuning in, it's the first ever podcast. I want you to really know a wee bit about me, a wee bit about my background and stuff like that there, what really brought me into where I am right now, podcasting, what made me want to do podcasting, or even just getting in front of a camera in general. And we're going to cover that there in this whole podcast. Look, it's not going to be perfect, and I do know that because I've never done it before. But just bear with me. It'll just get better over time. I haven't really, I'm not going to lie, I've not prepared for this podcast whatsoever. I kind of knew what I was going to be talking about, so I was sitting there thinking to myself, I might need to write it down because I have it all in my head, But we do have a few points here on my notepad, just so I don't get sidetracked. I kind of just really want to talk to you about life growing up. It's a lot different to, if someone was born in like 2010 or something like that. The height of technology, the height of the internet, the height of fucking YouTube and all that sort of stuff. I never grew up with that. I was born in 1995. Obviously, the internet wasn't even that old. But at least I had, a proper childhood, really. Wasn't really too much gaming in the early stages. It's kind of just like any other normal child would go outside, play football and all that sort of stuff, and playing with fucking Action Man and all that there. I still actually remember my first ever Action Man and all that there. Fucking Buzz Lightyear and all that there. But it wasn't really until I moved to... I moved house the first time. I do remember this quite well. We moved there for about a year. And this was when I was around about 4 or 5, right? And my dad bought a gaming console. I'm actually not too sure what the gaming console was called. But it had hundreds upon hundreds of games. So you would turn it on. And it had different cartridges. It was not a Nintendo before anybody says this here. It wasn't a Nintendo or it wasn't an Atari or anything out there. It was like one of those brands that weren't mainstream, if you know what I mean. It's one of those wee arcadey ones, pixelated, all that sort of stuff, but it was great. And that's what kind of got me into gaming at a young age. And I would play it non-stop, but it wasn't too bad. I wasn't playing it 24/7, as we'll get into further in this podcast, because it's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. Not pretty bad for me, but pretty bad viewing, if you know what I mean. But yeah, we would sit there and play that there maybe a couple of hours a day. Then I would go and play with my other toys and stuff like that there. But it wasn't really until we lived in that house for about a year, and then we moved back up to the estate where I was the first time and where I am right now. The height of the PlayStation 1. The PlayStation 1 came out, I think it was 1999 or 2000, but I got one. I didn't have one at the start, but at the time I was living beside my nanny, so my nanny was literally next door to me. So my cousin, who had a PlayStation 1 at this time, maybe he was like 16 or so, I would always be in his house. I'd go upstairs and I'd play his PlayStation, and that's what really got me hooked. At that point, that's what really got me hooked in gaming. The PlayStation 1 was like I don't know, looking back at it, if I rewind it back, rewind time all the way back to that time, you'd swear the games were amazing, like graphics wise, all that sort of stuff. But obviously, if you look back at it now, obviously they're all pixelated and they're terrible. But PS1, I didn't really have too much memories on the PS1. You kind of got the games like Tony Hawk's, FIFA 2000, FIFA 2001, all those older games, Pro Evolution, Hercules, all that sort of stuff. Still good, but it was 2002 when the PlayStation 2 came out, and that's what really changed my mindset of just being a normal kid and then going straight into gaming, and just literally nothing else mattered in the world other than gaming. And this was the height of it, because Grand Theft Auto came out, Grand Theft Auto 3 and Grand Theft Auto Vice City, followed by San Andreas a few years later. Obviously my cousin had the PlayStation 2 before me, so I'd always be in his house playing it. So I'd sneak upstairs, turn it on while he was away at work or whatever he was doing, and I would just be upstairs playing it. And then it came to Christmas that year, and yeah, probably my most favorite Christmas down in 2002. obviously because of the PS2, it was fucking brilliant. It was absolutely brilliant. I think that year I got the PS2. I got Burnout. I think it was Burnout. I don't know what it was called, but it was one of the Burnout games. We got FIFA 2003, and I didn't get Grand Theft Auto because obviously I was too young, but I could still play them because I would always sneak in next door and just take the games and just bring it into me, bring it into my own console. But we'll get into that there now in a wee second. But yeah, iToy, that's what I got. So if you're unfamiliar with the iToy, so obviously it's a game, and you would get a wee camera as well. So you put the camera anywhere on top of your TV or anything like that there. So back in the day, we didn't have lots of flat screen TVs, folks. No flat screen TVs. We had these wee box cube TVs. Fucking Jesus, Mother of God, just thinking of it right now. They were ass. But obviously you didn't think nothing of it, That's just what there was back then. We thought it was great. But yeah, the wee iToy was brilliant. So anytime you moved, it would transfer onto the screen. So it would be like a washing windows game, and you would literally be standing, say, about maybe 10 feet away. That's probably too far, but you get the gist. You're standing in front of the camera, and all these, like, your whole screen is completely full of like suds. Like, say if you were washing your windows, you'd obviously sud out the windows and stuff and clean it off. So it's up to you to do this here, and it would literally clean the screen, which was absolutely unbelievable, especially back in 2002, where technology was only peaking, but not fully. You know what I mean? But that was great. That was one of the best games, because that kind of brought the family together as well, because it wasn't just me playing it. I would have my sisters and all coming in, and we would all have fun at the same time and play it. But I actually don't know where we're going with this here, to be honest. But as I said, I'm just going to talk you through my memories of gaming growing up, and just a wee bit about me, just so he's have an inkling of my background and all that sort of stuff. But anyway, let's get back into it. So obviously, I wasn't allowed to play like the likes of 18 plus games, but I always found a way. My cousin Jason, he always had the up-to-date games, Vice City, GTA 3. I always found a way of going in and getting them off him. Always. So if he was never in the house, I would always be in asking Nanny and Granda and going up and say, can I go up and, borrow a game? So I'd take a game and jump over the fence and go straight upstairs and play it. But the problem is, I was that young of an age. I never really did missions or anything like that there in Grand Theft Auto. I kind of just play about and act a maggot, if you'd like to say that there. But there's a problem with the early GTA games, and that's each island is locked. So you have to complete a certain amount of missions before the next island is unlocked. And obviously, I didn't know how to do it. I was still young. I wasn't that smart, So I would always go in and I would take his memory card, right? I would take Jason's memory card, I'll take it into my house, load it up, and once the game's loaded up, his save would be on mine, right? So once that happened, I would take it straight back in, the memory card that is, I would take it straight back in, put it in his PlayStation, and go back in the house, and I would play the game for the rest of the day. All islands unlocked. Great. Brilliant. But you're probably sitting there thinking, did you even have a life? Did you even go out and do things like a normal child? Yes, I fucking did. Yes, I did. Of course I did. But no, look, don't get me wrong. I would play games fucking most of the day, but I would always be out playing football. I was always very active. I loved my football. Played for a local Gaelic team. Be training every Wednesday. You would have, blitzes and all like that there. Blitz, it's like a football tournament. But I would always be playing. I'd always be out the back playing football. With my goal posts and just scoring goals and all that sort of stuff, and just trying to reenact certain goals. I would always call myself Steven Gerrard when I was out the back trying to score goals and stuff like that there. But I don't really want to get off track. I want to start talking about, you know, how how I was influenced in, you know, making content, and that's what we're going to get into right now. So that's just a wee bit about my childhood. I'm not going to go in too much because I do want to save some for certain topics coming up over the next couple of months or so when we're doing podcasts. Because if I say too much, in future podcasts when you're listening, I'm going to be literally recycling off previous podcasts. I don't really want to do that there. I want every podcast to be somewhat fresh and new. You know, I just don't want to recycle all their ideas and talk about the same thing that I have in previous fucking episodes. You know, I don't want to do that. But we'll skip forward a wee bit because, as I said, I don't want to talk about school and nothing like that there because school sucks. School sucks. So if you're ever going to show this to your kids or anything out there, just bleep that bit out, or just fast forward it on because that's, you know, kids should stay in school. That's the bottom line, but it is what it is. But yeah, I want to fast forward. I think it was in 2015, the height of YouTube. Like, I mean, YouTube has always been big, but in terms of creating content and in terms of the gamers who are multi-millionaires, probably billionaires right now, like PewDiePie, they all started the trend back in 2010. It wasn't huge, but obviously over the years it's got bigger and bigger and bigger. So obviously gaming was the focal point on YouTube, and it kind of, you know, moved into like vlogging, Vine, all those sort of content creators came in. And then, see, not all YouTubers were paid before. They would literally just be doing it for fun, but obviously over the years, there's been content creators, you know, getting signed up to big companies and stuff and getting paid astronomical prices for just doing content. Like, for example, look at Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast started in 2010. He was just doing stupid little videos, but he was doing videos that no one was ever doing, and that's what really grabbed people's attention. Like, I think he read full dictionary in one sitting. So he would do a video just like this here. He would sit, have a full dictionary, and he would read the full dictionary. I don't know how long it took him, but I think there's another video he was doing as well. He counted to 100,000 in one sitting as well. Like, it took like 17 hours or something like that there. I'm not too sure. But imagine that. Like, that's the sort of stuff that people put themselves through just to get noticed on YouTube. But in terms of pay, didn't really start getting paid until around about 2013 or so. Maybe a wee bit earlier than that there. But obviously not as big as it is now. Like, I think 1 million, if you get 1 million views on your channel, or on a video even, sorry, that's about £2,500 you get in your bank. So for example, if you 10 million views, if you say for example, if I got 10 million views in one video, that would be what? 2, 4, 6, I fucking don't know. My maths is not great. Would it be about 20,000? Oh shit! No! Oh no! This is why you should stay in school, because, yeah, 20,000. It'd be £20,000 for like 10 million views. So one video, you get 10 million views in 1 week. That's 20,000 quid. The price is unbelievable. It really is. Like, that's never going to happen here, but I'm just doing this here because, you know, I have fun with it, and I've always had fun with making content, and I always feel happy in front of a camera. But yeah, 2015 is when I really started getting into watching people live stream games. And if you're unaware of Twitch.tv, it's the biggest live streaming service on the planet. And you find gamers, you have musicians, you have cosplays, you have porn stars, more or less. Fuck's sake. Not actual, but you know what I mean. Like, they're literally half naked in a fucking hot tub in their house, and literally getting fucking maybe $20,000 to $30,000 a night 5 years, just this like fucking oh, I don't know what way to say it. They're like fucking drooling over them. That's the word I'm looking for. They're drooling over them and they're just handing them out money, you know. But we'll talk about that another day because that shit is annoying, you know. But yeah, I started watching Twitch back in the day. The first ever streamer that I came across was Summit1G, and Summit1G is definitely a big part to play in why I started making content. Like I never thought in a million years that I would buy a complete studio setup and, broadcast me playing games to an audience. I never thought I would ever do that. And I never had any intentions, even when I first started watching Twitch, I still never had any intentions of doing it myself. Look, don't get me wrong, it was in the back of my head. But another part of me said that I would never do it because, like, at this point, I didn't have a job. I didn't have a job until I was 18. Now that's bad, but I didn't need to have it. I didn't need a job at this point. Like, I was happy enough just playing games and just sitting there and watching Twitch and just gathering ideas for the future if it ever happened. So yeah, as I said, Summit1G, Tim the Tapman, who are all absolutely unbelievable content creators. It wasn't really until so I watched it for about 7 months straight. 7 months straight, every single night. I watched broadcasts from about 7 o'clock at night, maybe till about 2 o'clock in the morning, and this was constant every single night. That's how much I enjoyed watching other people play games, because a lot of people say these days, like even when I was streaming, people were like, so what is this? Like, why would you want to play games? Why would people want to watch you? It's the most stupidest question that anyone can ever ask you, or even ask an influencer or a content creator. Like, why would people want to watch you? But why do you watch football? Why do you watch fucking tennis? Why do you watch the Olympics? Why do you watch, Live at the Apollo on a fucking Saturday night? It's because of its entertainment. Like, it would be different if people were just sitting there playing games and just not saying nothing, That's what people think it is. Like, they're literally just playing games, that's it, you're just watching it. Why not just play the game yourself? But these people are entertainers. Like your comedians, like your TV hosts, like your punditries, all that sort of stuff. It's the same thing. It's the same bloody thing. But I think it was like 7 months after that, Christmas time came and the Xbox One came out. And the sweet thing that the Xbox One had was you were able to stream to Twitch from your console directly. Now, when I first heard that, it kind of resonated with me, and I was like, you know what? I could do that too. I may not be great. It may take a while to, get somewhere. But the main reason I wanted to do it was because of my knowledge of gaming. And I love it, obviously. I do it every single day. I play it every single day. Not as much now. I don't do it as much as I did in the early days, but gaming still has a high part to play in my life even. And people might say, oh you are sad. You are fucking sad. And you know what I say? I say, go fuck yourself, because I don't shit on the things that you like to do, So you like running? Oh fuck, why would you want to run? That's shit. That's boring. What do you do? What's the difference? But that's just me. I would just, take the piss out of people. But yeah, so I first ever started my first ever stream. It was at the end of January in 2016. Was it 2016? Aye, it was. By 2016. Wasn't great. I would have a good couple of streams, before my internet started to play out. Obviously, I didn't have a job. My mum and dad were paying for the internet and all that sort of stuff. Obviously, I couldn't just say, "Oh, can we want to get an upgrade? Can we get some fiber? Can we get some fiber in here? Because I'm streaming here. I'm such a small streamer, and I just want to have a good stream, ma." My mum just told me to fuck off. Not made of money. Money's not. You can't just take money from trees and all that sort of stuff. So I was like, all right. So I got a job. First ever job was in a cinema, and it was a great job. But obviously, the early days of the stream, I'll get back to the main point now in a second. But I thought I was a fucking god because the first couple of streams were actually pretty good. We got a few people in the stream. Look, it was about 2 or 3 people and actually chatted. And you know what? The best thing ever for if you're ever going to go and do Twitch or any sort of live streaming on Twitch, either be on YouTube or anything like that, or Facebook or whatever. The first ever time that a person comes into your stream and actually chats in your chat is probably one of the best feelings that I've ever felt in my entire life. I'm not gonna lie. Like, it may not seem to be a big deal for a lot of people, but like when you're starting to invest time and effort and money, and we'll get into that in a minute, into your stream, and someone comes in and starts to acknowledge the effort that you're putting in and starts talking to you, and those people will come to your stream every single day. When you're consistent, they'll come into your stream every single day. They'll always chat with you. You'll never be sitting there playing a game and just not talking at all. They'll be in the chat communicating with you, and obviously you'd be chatting away. It would create conversations, and for like that could be the only person in your stream, right? But you're having a conversation with him or her, and lo and behold, another person comes in. They may not talk for a minute. They may not talk in the chat, but they're in the chat and they're watching the channel. So if I'm talking about something, say if I'm talking about a certain game, that might click in their head and say, "Oh, you know what? I have a question for this guy," and he might be very dead on. So then another person comes in and starts talking, and then that person communicates with the first person who was talking in the chat, and then that starts the conversation rolling throughout the whole stream. And that's one of the best things. That's one of the best things that I miss, especially in the early days, because there was about 4 or 5 streams in a row where I was streaming and I had 0 people in the chat. Look, it's not nice. It's very deflating. Like, a lot of people quit after the first stream because they've had no one in. They're like, "Oh, this is shit. I'm not getting nowhere, and no one's even coming in and saying hello or anything like that." There, it takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of time and effort, and consistency. I can't talk about consistency because the past few years I've been absolutely bollocksed in the content creating world, but we're trying to rectify that now. So where were we? What were we talking about there? Literally don't even know what I was talking about. So it's the first ever podcast and I'm fucking up already. But literally, I'm just going to sit back, relax, and just chat away. But let's get into it. Obviously, let's get back to the first job. So, in the cinema, I think I was getting, I don't even know what I was getting in terms of pay. I think it was about, what, 790, 780 or some shit like that there. Really bad. It wasn't too bad back then. Even though it was only about, what, 6 years ago? Something like that there. Oh, fuck, it wasn't. It wasn't 6 years ago. I'm trying to think actually what age I was when I got my first job. Fuck, you know what? It could have been when I was 20. Oh, it was, because I do remember saying to my friends, it took me 20 years to get a fucking job. Or I may have put that up on Facebook. I didn't really give a fuck, but obviously I had something to work towards. I was enjoying my streaming on the Xbox, but obviously I wanted to have a stream that had stuff on it. Like the way my stream is right now, you know, you couldn't do this on the Xbox. You just had a plain screen. Obviously the game was playing, and I would have like a wee like a wee box, there, down here. So I have a wee box down here, with the camera. That was about it. So the more that I was getting into watching people's streams and doing it myself, I was like, I would love to have a stream like that there. I would love to have a mic. I would like to have a proper camera and, you know, overlays and stuff. So like, I'm trademarked up here. You see my wee emblem up there? I can put anything on my screen. So obviously I have my job. Perfect. Boom. Work hard. I saved up for about, I think it was about 6 months. 6 months I saved up for. My first ever computer was £1,000. Now, I didn't need to go out and get a big fancy PC. At this time, I didn't really know too much about PCs now. I didn't really know what to look for. But all I needed was a capable computer to handle streaming. Now, it's not that hard to do. But I saved up that £1,000, bought the computer. It came with 3 monitors, came with a mouse and keyboard, and all that sort of stuff. And that's kind of when it started, you know, playing in my mind that I can actually do this properly, just like your big streamers out there. So I got it all set up and all that sort of stuff, and I think you'll see it on my YouTube channel. If you go all the way down to my videos, the first ever video that I put up on the channel was a reaction to Red Dead Redemption 2. Go check it out. It's the most retarded video ever. I literally go back and I watch it and I'm like, Jesus Christ, terrible. But you have to start somewhere. Yeah, not everybody is going to be great in front of a camera their first time. Like, for example, when I start bringing people into this podcast, they'll feel very awkward. Like, it's like second nature to me being in front of camera, but for other people, they'll feel very awkward. They'll feel like they're not being themselves. So if you are watching this here and you are going to be a future, you know, guest on the podcast, just be yourself. Like, it's not too hard to do. Like, there's one thing that I don't want to do, and I don't want to pressure people. I don't want to make the podcast out to be like a dirty journalist scum, you know. I just want to, you know, get to know them, and well, maybe I know them, but obviously there's going to be things that I don't know about them, and we'll talk about that, and then obviously the viewers will start getting, you know, sucked in. I'm like, oh, this is interesting. This is interesting to watch. This is, I can relate to this, you know. So certain topic, like as I said, like I've called this the Mystic Podcast for a reason. I'm not calling it the Mystic Gaming Podcast because it's not just going to be gaming. There's going to be gaming elements, but each podcast is going to be different. Like for example, I could have sat here and I could have talked about the Johnny Depp situation. I could talk about the Will Smith situation, but we're not going to talk about that. But we are going to be talking about them sort of things in different podcasts, you know. So stay tuned because there's a lot of great topics coming up in the future. So, but let's get back to it. Obviously, got my computer and all that sort of stuff, got all set up, and I felt like a king. I really did. I felt like a bloody king. This is where it starts getting interesting because I was really, really small time in terms of making content. I think by the time I got my computer and all set up and started looking a wee bit more professional on Twitch, I think I had about maybe 150 followers on Twitch. But then, obviously, guys, I was streaming maybe 8 to 10 hours a day, sometimes 7 days a week. That's how much effort that I have put in the early days to get to this point of confidence or something, or if you'd like to say that there or whatever. But yeah, but that literally 8 hours, 10 hours is nothing. Like, you're sitting there having fun playing games. If people come in and talk, it's a fucking bonus. You know what I mean? But yeah, I think it was like 2 months after, or maybe 3 months after I got my computer, it fucking crashed on me. It crashed on me. it fucking, I think it was one of the RAM sticks or the motherboard just failed. So I was out of action for about maybe 2 months. So I had to save up for another processor, a motherboard, and new RAM. So it cost me about £700. Um, but literally just before it failed on me, I hit 1,000 followers on Twitch. I was playing Black Ops, Call of Duty Black Ops 2. We are averaging, I think it was about 30 or 40 viewers a stream, which is pretty good. It was pretty good. I think I was a top streamer playing Call of Duty. Like, fair enough, it was Black Ops 2, it was outdated and stuff like that there, but people were coming on and watching it because of the gameplay. Like, I was good at Call of Duty. Black Ops 2 was great. Like, people loved the quick scope, and people loved to come in and ask, can I play? So it's kind of, you're bringing people into your game, and obviously they're in the stream as well. They could share that with their friends and stuff, you know. But hitting my first 1,000 followers was fucking insane. Like, I mean, there's a clip on Twitch. Might show you it in the next podcast. There's a clip when I'm playing, and it actually records the, what do you call it, the exact moment when I got my 1,000 follower. And you could probably see by my reaction, it really meant a lot. I just couldn't fucking believe it. But from 0 to 1,000 followers within, what, I think it was 6 months. I did say it's on there about 2 or 3 months, and I was wrong. Don't know what I was talking about there. But I think in the space of about 6 months, I got 1,000 followers. But a lot happened between 0 and 1,000. There was a this is funny. I think it was my third ever stream. I was streaming. I think it was, what was it? It wasn't Dark Souls. It was a game very similar to it. I can't remember what it was, but it was fucking impossible. And obviously, people came in and kept watching because I was literally failing every 2 seconds. I was down. I was getting pissed off. I was shouting. I was so pissed off. I was the top streamer on that category for 3 days straight. We had over 100 people in our streaming for about 4 or 5 hours. 100 people for 3 days straight. And I was sitting there. I didn't know. I think that was, it wasn't a good thing. You may say, "Oh, I would love to have 100 viewers for 3 days in a row." You really wouldn't, because especially when you're just starting out in the streaming industry, you're kind of like, just want to, build the confidence over the course of 4 months or so. But literally, more or less straight away, I was hitting 100 viewers a stream, which was fucking unbelievable. But it was kind of a bad effect, especially on what I was expecting for the future. Because after those 3 streams were over and I started playing a different game, I was straight back down to streaming to about 5 years. And I was sitting there like, how can I go from 100 viewers to 5? I didn't understand that at this point. So I was sitting there, I was like, this is shit. So I started getting really, really annoyed during streams because I wasn't getting people in. But obviously, you learn from that, and you're kind of like, you can't be really too hard on yourself. You kind of just have to go with it. It's not gonna happen overnight. Rome wasn't built in a day. There we go. Brilliant. Not sponsored by Red Bull, by the way, but if you're ever watching, I do love your product, so sponsor this channel. But yeah, let's get back into the nitty gritty of the streaming career. So it was a very interesting year of 2016 because I was signed up to my first ever esports team. They were called Set to Destroy X. I actually have the tattoo on my arm, but I'm not going to show you that there. So they were Canada's largest esports team. And if you're not familiar with esports is your professional, gaming category. Like, for example, obviously you've got fucking professional football. People are getting paid for it. But people get paid in tournaments. People get paid being an influencer, a streamer, and all that sort of stuff. Set to Destroy X has obviously a large following. Biggish. Biggish, but obviously you'd be streaming for the team, you'd be getting, products from certain sponsors like Logitech and all that sort of stuff. These actual headphones here are from Set to Destroy X, free of charge. Tell you what, it was the best fucking 3 years of my life being a part of that team. Well, I would say 2 years. Last year was a bit nitty gritty, because of moving abroad and stuff. But they were the best years of my life, by far. In terms of gaming, in terms of streaming, best 2 years ever. And I don't think it'll ever be topped. In all honesty, but I was signed up there. Obviously made a lot of friends on the way. Obviously, being a part of an esports team, you're playing with other people. So instead of just like streaming by yourself, it gives you a new dynamic. Not just for yourself, but as a viewer as well. So if a viewer is coming in and watching you, they're kind of just watching me play solo. There's not really any conversation in the game. But when I signed up for Set to Destroy, I was playing with streamers from Canada, America, fucking Germany, all those fucking different countries. And obviously, like, for example, CSGO. I played CSGO a lot back in the day. And, instead of just like playing it and just getting high kills and stuff like that, it's good when viewers expect a wee bit of entertainment, a bit of conversation between players, and that's exactly what happened. And from there, I had 1,500 followers when I first ever joined Set Destroy X, and within 6 months, of joining Set Destroy, I was up to 7,000 followers. Now, I'm currently at 8,000 and something like that there on Twitch. I haven't been streaming on Twitch, and I don't know when I'll ever go back to it, but we'll see what happens. But got up to about 7,000 followers, and just over time, things happened within the organization, and I kind of just everyone left. Not everyone, but more or less. Like all the best influencers on that team, all the best personalities, all left because there was some sort of stuff going on. It's not my place to say. I'm never gonna disclose anything to do with the organization because it's not right. I don't want to do it because they were great. But I kind of just stayed on for another year or so, and then I left about 2 years ago. Maybe a year and a half ago. I can't remember how long it was ago, but that it was one of the best times ever. You know what I mean? I do know this podcast is going to be all muddled up, and it's going literally you're going from one fucking topic to another. I do apologize. As I said, I did not prepare for this podcast. I kind of just want to get straight in and just talk to you directly instead of just running by a script. So I do apologize for that there, but it is what it is. They will get better and better. So yeah, kind of left them and just kind of wanted to just to do things by myself, not with other people looking over me and expecting, a certain sort of content. I kind of just thought like, kind of spread my wings and do things that I want to do, But from there, it kind of went downhill. I'm like, from streaming from about 10 to 12 hours a day for about anywhere from 4 to 5 days a week, and just not streaming at all. I haven't streamed properly on Twitch for about 2 years, maybe on and off over them 2 years. It's kind of just like YouTube's kind of taken over kind of wanted to do things differently, if you know what I mean. Like, I kind of want to just do videos, gaming videos, reaction videos, and podcasts. I thought I'd never ever do a podcast, but here we are. As I said at the start of the video, it's something new. I kind of like, I feel like there's something missing to, like, for me as a part of as being a content creator. Sorry for messing up the words there. I know there's something missing there. I know there's something that I can do well at, and maybe this is one of them. Maybe this is one of them. Vlogging as well. Vlogging could be one for the future. I do have something planned the next year or so. I don't want to talk about that yet because that's going to be fun. That's going to be great, and we can take you on an adventure with us as well. But as I said, okay, I'm going to go back. I'm going to go back to obviously my influence in gaming. Obviously, Syndicate is a big part of why I do this, because I literally watch Syndicate every single day. His vlogging channel, all that sort of stuff. His Minecraft stuff. I don't like Minecraft, but obviously his character, his personality, kind of just like, you know, he's kind of just like me. He's kind of just like me. I can literally relate to him, you know. But the likes of him is kind of just keeping me going, keeping me, like, you know, thinking of fresh ideas for the channel. And yeah, that's kind of what it is, really. You know, I don't know what's next. I don't know, but I think we'll get a guest on for the next one. I'm not too sure yet. We'll see. I might do another solo one, but a more organized solo podcast, because this one's fucking. I fucked this one up, guys. I fucked this one up. I literally have. What do you say? Right. You ready? Alright. My full page of notes for this podcast. So it was like, talk about the podcast and plans. I think we did that there a wee bit. Not too sure. Childhood, grown up. I think, you know what, I kind of could have did that there better on this podcast. But again, we can rectify that in other podcasts. The first one, you know, give me a break. Jesus. Influence. Wait, what influenced me to start streaming and creating content, and obviously my time streaming. Fuck me, I fucked this one up. But look, I've kind of enjoyed this. I'm not gonna lie. It'll obviously be better when I have it fully planned out and we're going in a certain direction from the first topic, you know? This has kind of been just all over the place. But I hope you have found it interesting, at least. I'm not 100% happy with it, but there is elements of the conversation we've had here that I've wanted to get across, you know? But I can't sit here and talk like this to a group of people. I can only do this sort of thing when I'm in front of a camera. It's weird. But obviously, the more I do podcasts, and obviously the more people that I start bringing in, it's going to help in the long run as well. Well, that's not if people are boring fuckers in a conversation, and that's what really bugs me. Because if I'm in the middle of talking to someone and I'm talking about a certain thing and they're like, I literally have to leave. I literally have to just say, you know what? You don't seem interested at all. You're boring as fuck, so I'm just going to leave here because, you know, I'm just wasting my time. You know? I could have saved them words for someone else who actually gave a fuck. You know what I mean? But, we'll do another solo podcast next week. Okay? I'll start taking the notes down on the Monday. Throughout the next, I'll give myself a time scale from a Monday to a Wednesday to get all the topics that I need. Look up certain things on the internet which would be probably worth talking about. As I said, the Johnny Depp situation is still going on, so I wouldn't mind talking about that. But I think I'd rather talk about that with another guest. Now, the problem is, I've only got the one mic. I was going to get a new one there soon, a few days ago, but I decided against it because obviously I got the new mixer and I literally don't need to upgrade this mic anymore. So if I can, in the next month or so, I'll get another mic. Then obviously we'd have someone here beside us. But I don't know what way this room's going to work in terms of having a guest in, because like where I'm sitting, like over here is more or less the wall. So I don't know how I'm going to get the other person in beside me without being cramped. So I might have to move the studio a wee bit, to fix that. I don't know. But look, again, this podcast has been everywhere. But again, guys, don't judge, because it's the first ever podcast that I've ever did, and I kind of went over the topics that I really wanted to talk about. We kind of really lost track when we were talking about, like, obviously starting streaming and the influencers that influenced me to do it. But look, it is what it is. Hope you enjoyed it. It's the first ever one. Slag the fuck out of me in the comments. Hit the thumbs up on the video. That'd be great. Because the more you like the video, the more it helps the video get recommended on other people's channels as well. So that'd be great, But hope you enjoyed the first ever podcast on the Mystic podcast. What the fuck? I'll be back maybe next week, but keep updated on Facebook and on Twitter as well. They'll be in the description down below. But yeah, if you want me to talk about a certain thing in the next podcast, make sure you type down in the comments, and yeah, I will look into it and see if it is worthy of talking about. But yeah, hope you enjoyed that there first episode. I'm not 100% happy with it, but it is what it is. It is what it is. I will see you in the next one, guys. Hope you're having an amazing weekend. Be safe and just, fucking rock on, motherfuckers. I'll see you in the next one. Good night.